Not Nerd Podcast, episode 288. Flip it in post.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Well, hello there, Junior. It's good to see you.
Sean Connery?
It's Sean Connery here today.
Wow.
Filling in for, what's that fellow's name? David, I believe. Anyway, I'm here, ready to talk technology.
Who needs Cameo when you've got your impersonations?
Sean, get out of my chair. Okay, I'm back.
Oh, that's actually a little tease for our bonus odd take of the week that I'm excited to share with everybody. Nice work there. Well, we should probably talk some technologies. We're going to move on to Followup, and this has nothing to do with Followup, but I am very excited, and I sent you a couple pictures. We went over to some friend's house yesterday, and much to my chagrin, I noticed that he had a brand new, because they are brand new, Mustang Mach E in his driveway. And I was like, he had just bought a truck in the fall, and I was like, what is this beauty? And so I got to sit in it, and then luckily we ordered some food through one of the food delivery apps, and they forgot my meat. So I got to drive the Mach E to go pick up the meat from the Euro House or wherever we ordered from. But
I just need some meat. Just put it on a napkin.
Yes. So the Mustang Mach E, that's their new all-electric Mustang. It's got a big Tesla-like screen in it. It is very fast. Now, the Teslas have ludicrous mode where you just want all-out power. This, because it's a Mustang, has unbridled mode.
Because it's a horsey horse term.
Yes. So they have that, and he was very lucky to get it. The truck he bought, he actually got more for trade-in than he paid for it, and somebody happened to return a Mach E the same day that he called because there's a long waiting list for him. So I lucked out on that, and it is they are doing some very cool things with it. It's got like a 20-inch tablet display in there.
Yeah, it looked like a giant iPad, but mounted. That is very strange.
AirPlay and wireless charging and everything in there. It is a pretty cool little vehicle.
But does it drive you? Can you put in a destination and will it drive you there without touching the wheel?
Not yet. He said, my buddy said that they have a software update coming later this year, and I believe it's only like $500 or something like that, and you can get the upgrade to self-driving. So we will have to schedule another hangout time with them once I see that comes out.
Make sure you do that when I'm over visiting.
Yes, we will both go over there for some unneeded reason. I did want to remind people that Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day, is coming right around the corner. It's a little earlier. Well, remember last year it was like late because of the pandemic, and then usually I thought it was in July, but it's June 21st and 22nd. So as our usual disclaimer, if you need Amazon brand devices, you'll get a good deal, and everything else is kind of a crap shoot, as they like to call it, as to whether you're getting something that you actually need or that, like maybe an Instant Pot. They always have a couple good deals, but there are a lot of deals that just are garbage.
They have a couple of loss leaders there that they put out there to pique your interest, and then you get there and you're like, well, there's a toothbrush. Why don't I don't care. I can, why do I need that?
And there's save up to 40% on smart home devices, and then I'm sure all of their tablets and everything will be on like the Eero 6, which is their mesh Wi-Fi company that they bought, goes from $279 to $181.
It's a good opportunity for them to get rid of all of their overstock that they don't want anymore.
Yes. So let us know if you get any good deals on that. But I did want to mention that will be coming up very soon.
And as a reminder, you should go to amazon.notnerd.com so that you can do it through our link.
Very true. I did see an article. I think we briefly touched on the whole scary stories of with AirTags you could stalk people and all that stuff, which we haven't heard any examples of. But Apple did announce that they are doing some improvements to their privacy, and they're working on a Android app to be able to use with AirTags and do some identification and tracking and stuff. They kind of work with NFC on Android right now, but they're going to have a dedicated app, so you'll be able to do more with it there, especially if like you find one or if you think there's one around you or whatever. So Apple is aware of privacy issues and they take them very seriously, and they're making improvements. So
yeah, that's their whole shtick, privacy.
Yes, and an update on my AirTags. I have not lost anything yet, so I have not needed to use them, which is the whole goal. My goal is to not lose things, but it's nice to have those AirTags there in case I do.
Yeah, I haven't lost mine either, but I found myself to be a little more cavalier with the objects that they are tethered to, because I'm like, I can always find it later. So I hope that doesn't come back to
throw your keys wherever, throw them out in the front yard whenever you get home. And
driving near a stream, I just chuck out my AirPods and everything. Just, I can find them later.
Yes. So last week was our WWDC episode, and we tried to, as quickly as possible, yet as thoroughly as possible, go through all the features of everything. And I've heard of it. I mean, we could spend 10 hours going through all the features, most of which we don't care about until the actual operating systems come out. But there was two little things that I saw of note. The first one, finally, iPhone apps on iPadOS 15 can now run in landscape mode. So this has been ever since you could run iPhone only apps on iPad. They were always vertical.
Portrait
if you were
mode.
holding the iPad, portrait mode. If you were holding the iPad, now you can turn it sideways and they will turn and just take up a smaller part of the screen, which I do not know why that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, and here's a use case for me. I have the iPad. It's an older iPad Air with the little keyboard and stuff. And so most of the time it's in landscape mode because I'm on the web or I'm doing whatever. And occasionally I will launch an iPhone app and I have to creak my head sideways to interact with it. And all the interface is turned. And so I either have to disconnect it from my keyboard and hold it like a caveman in my hands to operate the app, and then put it back into landscape to put it back on my keyboard. It's just a big pain. So I'm so glad this is here, and I, for one, will be using it a lot.
Yes. And also in iOS 15 for your iPhone, they have made it work with Find My that you will be able to locate your phone even if it is off or if it is factory reset.
Now, how does this magic work?
Pure magic. So the iPhone somehow, when it's off, it'll still be able to use a little bit of power. I don't know how that gets triggered, but I think this is in the case that, if it was stolen and they know to turn it off right away or redo a reset as quickly as possible, that if it's still tied to your iCloud account, that you'll be able to find it. So seems like a good thing.
Well, this would have been helpful when my wife several years ago had her iPhone 6S in the bathroom. And then I think she either had it on the counter or somewhere in a public bathroom, left, came back, phone was gone, like a minute later. And I'm sure the person who stole it immediately reset it, erased it. And but now they can't do that. And that's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yes, we like to deter people from stealing our very expensive, very personal devices.
Yes.
We mentioned, a month or so ago that Jeff Bezos had announced that he was retiring this summer. Well, now he's announced that himself, his brother, and one lucky, I'll put that in air quotes, lucky sweepstakes winner will be heading to space. So he has, much like Elon Musk, his space company. And after he retires, hey, why not? I'm going to go to space.
I mean, it is the final frontier. I mean, he's conquered all others. Well, maybe he needs to go down to the bottom of the ocean because that's a very mysterious place still. But space is much more sexy, so that's the good place to go. And man, I do not want this to happen, but space travel is very risky.
Yes.
And can you imagine the tragedy if his brother, and his sweepstakes winner went and there was a problem and it exploded? I can't imagine how terrible that would be.
Yes, but I did see somebody put together a little meme that said Elon Musk is very excited for Jeff Bezos to travel to space because then he will once again be the richest man on Earth.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Well, we've got a little Cryptowatch, and This is kind of interesting. It hasn't been talked about a whole lot, but I've seen a couple stories that China, our lovely friends to the west.
It depends on which way you go, my friend.
China, the largest country in the world that has some very interesting laws. We'll leave it at that because we are the most nonpartisan tech podcast on the internet, but they are really cracking down on Bitcoin and really trying to stop its use over there. So the article I linked to in the show notes is actually that they were going on Weibo, which is a very popular communication app over there, and shutting down cryptocurrency accounts there. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out because China has a lot of people and they've been doing a lot of stuff with Bitcoin. So it could really, really have an impact on the market.
I wonder if there's any way when they shut down those accounts, if they could send the Bitcoin over to my account.
Oh,
because I'm in the US and I could use that money.
Yes. To all of our Chinese listeners, which probably don't show up on our stats, we probably have lots, but it's probably blocked because of,
firewalls and
the
stuff.
internet over there. But if you have Bitcoin, I can give you my address and ship them on over. I will take a look. I'm actually surprised that it looks like Bitcoin in my app is up 10% today.
Yeah.
Over the week, it's at the highest point. It's currently at 39,000. Jumped up to $409.40 per Bitcoin.
Wow.
Low over the last week was 31,000. So that's a almost 25% change this week. So as I pay more and more attention to the crypto markets, they are extremely volatile.
Let's put it this way. There was a quote I saw recently. Warren Buffett had said, unless you're willing to see your stock portfolio go down by half and not get sweaty about it, then you shouldn't be doing stocks.
Yes.
And it's doubly true for cryptocurrencies. If you can't stand to see your stocks go down 75% overnight, then you shouldn't be playing the game.
Yes, I would agree. I think it's maybe Clark Howard. Somebody's kind of stance on it is don't put any money into it that you aren't willing to lose. Mm-hmm. If you want to put some in and play around with it, but some of the people that have gone all in and, sell their homes and their children and everything to buy cryptocurrency.
Don't do that.
Some it's worked out well for, but you are taking a big risk. And we are on the risk adverse end of the spectrum between the two of us. But it's never risky. Dave's pro tip of the week.
I don't know. You never know what I'm going to be talking about. Could be risky. Well, this week I thought we'd talk about something that has bothered me for a while. And I'm not sure when Apple started doing this, but at a point in time, the forward-facing camera on your iPhone would reverse itself and give you a mirror image. So it's a little more functional to position yourself or to see the background, because it's like looking in a mirror versus looking in a backwards view of yourself, because if it were recording in forward ways, you'd be on the right, even though you were standing on the left and everything's backwards.
Get a little disorientating.
Yes, disorientating, as they say, or disoriented, whichever you prefer.
Yeah.
So you can, by default, it's flipped, and you can take a selfie, and it used to, I swear this to be true, I could be wrong, it used to flip it in your camera roll. But now when I go in my camera roll, the picture's flipped. I have text in the background and it's all backwards. And I see these photos all over the place. I'm like, why didn't you flip your photo? What's wrong with you? It's clearly backwards. The text shows that it's backwards. Well, this is going to be a two-parter. Let's say you've taken a photo and it's reversed and you want to flip it. How do you fix that on an iPhone? Well, you simply go into your Photos app and then you find the photo, click on it. Then you're going to want to hit the edit button in the upper right corner. And when you're in the edit, I know this is like 27 steps. Down near the bottom of the page, there is a kind of an L7 rotatey little box thing. You click that. That is the trim or crop tool.
Crop and rotate tool.
And then now direct your attention back to the top of the screen. Yes, Apple has some interface issues with this. There are two little triangles with an arrow, double arrow at the top. That, if you press that, it will flippity flop your image. Nice. So that's how to fix an already flipped image that you don't want to flip. And you can also rotate images in that same place or straighten them. But if you want to avoid that altogether, you're going to want to go to Settings, and you're going to scroll down to the camera option in the main settings. It's kind of in its own section under the music, TV, photos. There's a camera option. And when you're there, in the second section titled Composition, it says Mirror Front Camera. You can turn that on or off. I have elected to turn Mirror the Front Camera off because I'm sick and tired of having to go into Photos and flip my images back to proper. Now, most people don't care about this. It bothers me. I don't want to see my photography in a mirror image. I want to see it upside right or whatever. So, Nate, are you aware of any way to have a mirrored display, yet it takes the picture and flips it normal? I thought this was default behavior.
Yeah,
I really do.
I know this has changed, and this actually came up. I was I got to go to a Blazer game thanks to my wife, the last game of the season, and I had my Upper Lip City shirt on, and I was going to do a Instagram stories that I was at the game, but the shirt was reading backwards, and I was in a rush, so I was just like whatever. So thank you very much for this tip. But yeah, it seems like you would be able to do that. I did while you were talking. I checked on editing a video that you've taken, and you can also, that same control is available for videos to flip those.
Yeah.
So if you did a little
selfie video, you want to flip it.
You can flip it in post, as they say. But I definitely just turned on that setting. Thank you for pointing that out, the mirror front camera. But I don't know. It does seem like it used to be a much better experience for that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm going crazy, but I thought that it was mirror the viewfinder, but the photo would come out normal. But maybe people weren't expecting that. Maybe they're like, you know what? I got it all exactly like I want, and Apple's flipping it, and it's like tripping me out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either. So, but I don't like the default behavior, so I just turn it off.
Yes.
And now my photos are as God intended, right side right.
Yes. Well, I've got a bonus pro tip this week. I was working with a newer client of mine, and we were trying to figure something out for some software they had. So they were looking on the software's website, and they wanted to pass that information on to me. So then I received an email where they had printed off the web page, scanned the printed off web page, and then emailed me the attachment. So I want to remind people, you can email somebody a link to a web page, or you can just save the web page as a PDF, or
do a screenshot,
or anything. I'm hoping none of our listeners would do that, but yes, you do not need to print off a web page, scan it back in, and then send it to somebody. I was scratching my head. Maybe she wanted to keep a copy of it. I don't know, but yes, it was not the most efficient process in the world of technology.
I will say though, kudos to that person for finding a way.
Yes,
that they didn't give up
Yeah.
and say, this is impossible, that they found a way to do it. It may not have been the most efficient way. And that's another reminder on technology. There's often dozens of ways to accomplish the same goal. And not all of them are correct and not all of them are wrong, but many are more efficient than others.
Yes. Well, let's move on to our takes of the week. This is one you found, then I saw it a couple other places. With WWDC going on this last week, there's been a lot of buzz about developers and everything. Well, a teen developer recreated iOS 4 completely in a standalone app. And I don't know, Dave, if you were able to download it. He doesn't have it in the App Store because he doesn't think Apple would approve it. He has it through Test Flight, which is like the testing thing. And it's
there's a lot of friction to get that.
Yes, but you open this app and it is like you're using iOS 4 and just remembering how far iOS has come in the last 10 versions. But it is a fun little thing to play, and kudos to the developer that created this, because it is impressive.
Now, I never took the trouble or took the time to go in and subscribe to the test flight and download it and all that stuff, because I just have to go back here into my drawer and pull out a device that has iOS 4 on it, and then I can experience the whole thing.
Yes. It's really cool. You've got the slide to unlock with the little raindrop background, and then you go in there and it's got all the original app icons, and you can open your photos and the camera and the old YouTube app and all these all the default apps.
That's really cool.
It is really a cool thing. It does have the App Store here now. I don't know. It looks like the old App Store, but I don't think you can install apps. But really impressive what some of these developers are able to do. And it's a bummer that it probably won't ever go out to the world, because he could charge a couple bucks for this and become a very, very rich man. So hopefully he's taking donations somewhere. Very cool. Zane Kleinberg is the developer that put this together.
Very fun.
Yes. Now, listener and friend of the show, Wes, he was asking, we were talking on the phone this week, and he kept meaning to call in, and I was meaning to talk about it, and it was kind of a big story last week, but we were doing WWDC. So Amazon has turned on their new Sidewalk feature, which has been everywhere in the press, all the local news and everything, and a lot of scare stories of, you got to turn this off. Amazon's sharing your internet with the world. I link in the show notes to the actual Amazon page. So obviously they do a good job of selling it. And what it is basically creates a mesh network where, like, your Echo devices, your Ring security cameras, outdoor lights, motion sensors, the tile trackers use this, so they can kind of share a little bit of internet. Now, I believe they say that it will only share up to 500 megabytes per month. So it's not like it's just going to be bleeding, like somebody can just use it. And it's more for like smart home devices, and kind of like if your internet goes out, your camera might be able to hop onto the neighbor's network and still be able to function some. And I don't know all the details, but Dave, what are your thoughts on the Sidewalk? And is it a big privacy concern? And should everybody rush to turn it off?
Well, when it first was announced, I was in a rush to turn it all off. Steve Gibson with the Twit TV network has looked at it. He's a security researcher and has said, it's safe and all this stuff. I am not a big, I'll say this, it's a two-edged sword. I love being able to go out into the world and connect to an open Wi-Fi access point, or do GPS positioning or whatever I need to do based on the infrastructure around me. But when it comes to like my personal stuff, I'm like, I don't want Comcast turning on the Wi-Fi thing in the background. I don't want Amazon to do their Sidewalk deal, because I feel like it's my stuff and my network, and I don't want to open up the security risk. For one, that's my main concern. It's not really using my bandwidth. It's utilizing, which I am paying for, by the way. It's utilizing my equipment, and there might be privacy implications. And just knowing like all this crypto hacking that's going on, or not crypto, where they lock your stuff, ransomware, where hackers can get in and lock your stuff. And it's like, do I need exactly one more little open door for them to come in and hack my network? No, thank you. So I will say on this, TBD, to be determined.
Yes.
I will probably keep it turned off on my devices, but I may enable it. Like, here's an example. If I start using Amazon devices that can utilize the Sidewalk feature, I will turn it on.
Yes.
But until that time, I'll probably keep it off.
Yeah, and I think I have some Amazon devices that might use it, and I haven't gone in to look, which is about the typical experience for both of us. Kind of my personal opinion is, if you have Amazon devices in your home, you're not worried about privacy enough to turn off Sidewalk, because if Amazon's listening to you. And another note, along the 500 megabytes per month, the maximum bandwidth that it uses is 80 kilobits per second, which is just a very small fraction. So it's not like your internet's going to slow down because the neighbor's camera had to connect onto your thing, or somebody was trying to locate their tile device. So
remind me again, and the rest of the listeners, what is the primary function for this? Is it for like tile type devices? There's more than that, because the tile partnership was just announced a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So under their frequently asked questions, it says, what is Amazon Sidewalk? So we'll take it from Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon Sidewalk is a shared network that helps devices work better. operated by Amazon at no charge to customers. Sidewalk can help simplify new device setup, extend the low bandwidth working range of devices to help find pets or valuables with tile trackers, and help devices stay online even if they are outside the range of their home Wi-Fi. In the future, Sidewalk will support a range of experiences from using Sidewalk-enabled devices such as smart security and lighting and diagnostics for appliances and tools. So,
but wouldn't you have that in your house already? Wouldn't it connect to your local network already if it's an appliance?
So it's like if you have something that's closer to your neighbor's house, it could borrow a little bit of their. So I think the idea, and I'll also go back and say, you mentioned Comcast. If you have Comcast internet, there's a good chance that you have turned on with the Comcast router, the Xfinity network, which I hop on if I find one, and that's what I can connect to, where it has your network, and then it also has the Xfinity. So it's kind of this pipe dream of global internet everywhere, because there's, so many Comcast houses or so many Amazon devices that there's this mesh that just extends. And like you were saying, you'll always be connected wherever you go and be able to do whatever you want.
I think they call that cell phones.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know if there's a lot of benefit to having it on at this time, but I also don't know if you need to rush to turn it off, because it seemed, if Steve Gibson says it's secure and he doesn't have any reservations on it, they had to have done a pretty good job, because he is pretty picky on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So enough of that. And you mentioned ransomware security and privacy stories. So I think this was 2 weeks ago, but again, we didn't talk about it last week. There was this one really hit home. Who cares about gasoline? There was a ransomware attack on, I believe it's the world's largest Meatpacker, JBS. Now, I eat a lot of meat, and so there was concerns that if their network was down too long, it would further impact meat availability
and make prices go up.
Yes, which prices are going up on many things, and it does look like they paid. I think I saw a Followup that they paid the ransom. They were able to get their meatpacking facilities, and I mean, this place, they have locations all over the world, and they're responsible for a lot of the meat, much like the Colonial Pipeline was responsible for a lot of the gasoline in the Southeast U.S. So it's a little disheartening to see these attacks on these major, infrastructure and necessity type companies.
And I have no doubt that these are potentially state-sponsored hacks from Russia. Let's just be honest. If they want to come at me, bro, come at me,
Yes. If they say it is likely from Russia. So
yeah. When are we going to have SEAL Team 6 go over there and just kick some major butt and wipe all these guys out? Because it's an attempt to destabilize our country. And we see what happens. People put gas in plastic containers that aren't rated for them, like bags.
Yes.
What happens when the meat goes down? Are people going to start stealing your pets and putting them in the deep freeze? I mean, people are crazy out there.
Yeah, it is a never-ending problem, and hopefully they can do something to make these attacks slow down. And also, in related news, in South Korea and Taiwan, there was a major data breach at McDonald's. So even the fast food, even McDonald's, the Golden Arches are not safe from cyber attackers. They stole customer emails, phone numbers, and addresses for delivery customers in South Korea and Taiwan. So it doesn't look like they got they didn't get credit card information, but again, any information that they can gather, or at least that's what they're telling us at this point.
You know what is going to happen? There's going to be a series of people in Korea all getting this call that goes something like this: your warranty has expired on your automobile. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Your McDonald's order is ready for pickup. Please give us your credit card and we will send somebody right over with it. Oh, and one more kind of security and privacy story. As we've made very obvious over the years, we're both big fans of Apple's operating systems and the security and privacy that they work on, and not as big a fan of Microsoft. Well, every month Microsoft does their Patch Tuesday, where they roll out all of their updates, and the June 2021 Patch Tuesday fixes 6 exploited 0 days and 50 flaws.
Wow.
That's just 1 month's worth of updates.
I'm connecting to my remote PC right now, and I'm turning on Windows Update.
Yeah, so just a very friendly reminder to keep your devices updated, because they're always trying to keep ahead of these ransomware and malware jerks with their updates. So, and it's not rare that they're fixing nearly that many things in a month. So you really got to keep on those updates. So when it has that little thing that says update now or remind me later, every once in a while, just hit that update now instead of ignoring it for months and months. Like I've seen people do. They're like, yeah, it kept bothering me. I just said ignore. And it's like, well, yes, there's probably a reason why they're bothering you about that.
And we're still fans of Windows Defender, the built-in malware tool, correct?
Yes, that is, for personal use, that is good. Keep that updated. They do a very good job. If you're in a business setting with tons of computers, it's nice to have something managed where you can see it all from one spot. But for personal use, the built-in Microsoft security stuff has gotten much better.
Yes.
Our bonus odd take of the week. You kind of alluded to this in your intro, whether knowingly or not, but I found via oft linked to kotkey.org. It's a 15-minute documentary called Footsteps, and it's talking with 3 Foley artists, which is just a mystifying industry for me. The people that make sounds for video or even audio stuff, but they're creating these sounds, and it is a fun. I mean, it didn't even feel like it was 15 minutes long, because it is just fascinating to watch. I believe it's just this one company and these, the buildings that they built and the stuff that they have and the sounds they create and some of their process on making all these sound effects. And, I think Dave, not on the podcast, but you and I have joked, it's like, why do you even need Foley artists when you can just go download sound effects? And watch this and you will realize why you can't just go download sound effects to get the stuff that these people are doing.
Yeah. And to tag on to this, I recently started listening to a podcast, 20,000 Hertz. It's from a studio that produces audio stuff for movies and television programs and stuff. And they go through all this different stuff. And they've recently had some programs describing Foley and interviewing different people. And it is a neat industry. It is harder than it seems, especially when you're acting out every single move that the actor is making on the screen. So
and it actually, not to do a spoiler alert, but they talk about how in the old days they had to do it in one take. All of the sounds for the movie, they watched the movie and they had to record it all in one take because the technology just wasn't there. So it used to be, and I think they maybe even did it live at some point. So, you got a silent film and you're literally adding in all of the noises, but just a very cool sit down with the family and get Footsteps. It's on YouTube. But yeah, it's a fun little look at a peek behind the scenes of what these people do and their commitment to the art and the skill that they have.
A lot of fun.
Yes. Well, speaking of skills, it's time for our picks of the week.
Now, we just talked about cryptocurrencies earlier. And a tool that I have used in the past month or two that's been really useful for me in doing any kind of trading is a website and an app called TradingView. What TradingView is just a tool to look at the different stocks, and you can view the data in various ways and compare it against itself, compare it against other apps and stuff. It's one step up from just going to Robinhood or Stash or Acorns or whatever and going, oh, it looks like my stock is going up or going down, and maybe even more robust than something like Yahoo Finance, where you can look at the candle charts and the volume and all the stuff that's going on. this contains all of that, but you can customize the heck out of it if you know what you're doing. And no, I do not know what I'm doing. I've clicked on a couple of templates. One, for example, you could, like, I'm looking at Ethereum now, and I'm very happy to see that it is rising up with Bitcoin. Very happy to see that. But there's a little plus button down there, and you can click on templates, and there's Bill Williams 3 lines template that shows volume, the moving average. There's another one that shows the volume and the moving average exponential, volume, moving average exponential times 8 ribbons, and all this crazy stuff that you can go to business school and learn how to read the markets and do all this stuff. But this app is free to use. Of course, they have some premium features, but whether you use the website or download the app, TradingView can really unlock a lot of information to help you trade smarter. And so I'm learning how to do some of this stuff, and maybe being able to see some trends at least a few minutes or tens of minutes before they happen, so that I'm not just stuck all the time when, like, oh, the stock is going up. Oh, I should have bought it 10 minutes ago. Oh, it's going down. Oh, I should have sold it 10 minutes ago. It can give you just a little more insight to the activity, and hopefully you can make better decisions.
Very nice. Well, my pick of the week this week, I think, and I was just trying to look it up, many moons ago, I picked the Chipotle app, the iOS app, and I've talked about it, and you can do your orders, and there's a rewards program. But today I want to pick a different one that I have been using a lot more lately, and that is actually, I've got a double pick for you because I am so generous. The Wendy's app. Now, I love Wendy's. I worked at Wendy's in high school. It was, as a early teenager, what I wanted my first job to be because I loved Wendy's so much. But using the apps for all of these different fast food restaurants, if you have a place that you go and they have an app, check it out, because with Wendy's, like today I went and I opened up the app and looked under the offers, and there was buy one premium sandwich, get one for $1. So I was able to get 2 Baconators minus the bun for like $9, where it would be $14 usually, or whatever it is. Wow. But really good deal. And then also, when I was talking to Wes earlier this week, he mentioned that he had just gotten the Burger King app. And I know from past experience, I don't have a Burger King real close, and I don't go there too often. You used to, which it's not there anymore. But they also have a lot of good deals. So Dave and I are a big fan of a good deal. And if you're going to a restaurant and you're going to eat there anyways, why not look and see? And then there's reward. Like last week at Wendy's, I got a free salad with my rewards points, and those are like $7. But even like Chick-fil-A, so many places have apps now. I've got a folder with like 30 fast food restaurants for PDX Fast Foodie on my phone. That's like half of that's like 5% of the apps on my phone. But if I'm going to a restaurant, it's like, well, do they have an app? Are there any specials in there? You can coupon clip and do all of that stuff, look in the weekly mailer. But if you have the app and you decide you're going to go somewhere, you might be able to save yourself some serious coin, or be able to try something that you haven't tried, a new product they might have a deal on. So it is well worth getting fast food apps or restaurant apps for any places that you visit.
Yes, and I use the McDonald's one often because they sometimes will give me a screaming deal on a 20-piece chicken McNuggets. And then I like to order Taco Bell using the app because I can customize everything with no sour cream. Yes. No sour cream on that. Now, I can do that at the window, but the chances of them messing it up at the window is much greater.
Yes. Yeah. With the Chipotle app, you can really specify and, add extra stuff and do this and that. Yeah. If it's been a while since you've used a fast food app, especially over the last year, they've come a long ways and they've improved, and it's easier. And then you've even got DoorDash and all Uber Eats, all the delivery places, which I don't use too much, but I do know a lot of people use those, but you usually don't get the deals there. So go to the app, see if you can get yourself a deal. Well, now this is the time that we would usually do the Ramazan pick of the week, but My mother asked me not to go in and look at any of the Amazon sales because I believe she might have purchased something for me. So we're going to skip that. We will remind people, I should just save the Prime Day story for now, but go to amazon.notnerd.com so that next week when I can go back and then look at it again, that I will be able to see all those purchases you've made, all the wild, wacky stuff that you've bought. I just came up with this because I don't have a Ramazon purchase. And Dave, I'm so sorry. I'll give you a price too. But for the weirdest thing that shows up in our Ramazon reports that I find on there, I will give you a Google Home Mini device. The Google Home Mini, the little speaker like the Amazon Echo Dot. I have got one in my garage that I will give to you for the weirdest thing that shows up over the next couple weeks, because I've got 2 of them in my garage. And if you already have those, I've got other stuff that I will give you. So I'm going to incentivize you guys to go buy your spouse or a friend or a family member just the weirdest thing you can find, or for yourself on Amazon. And whoever gets weirdest is going to get a prize personally from my garage. I will autograph it for you.
It really makes me want to play this game. Yet I already have one sitting at work under my desk unopened.
Yes.
Because I've never found a use for it. And I gave another one away that was brand new a couple Christmases ago.
I have started, every once in a while, I try to organize my garage a little bit, and I've started a pile of stuff that I do not need, but that are great tech products, extra ones that I've purchased over the years or ended up with. So we're going to start giving away some prizes. So this is how we're going to start it. Buy weird stuff on Amazon, and then we will pick it for the show, and you can win a prize.
It's like a 2-for-1. You get something from Amazon, and you get a free gift to go along with it.
Yeah, yes. It's basically like you're getting Amazon stuff for free, kind of. Or you're getting double the stuff for the price of one. It's like the Wendy's app. I will charge you $1. You buy something on Amazon, you give me $1, and you get a prize. So
yeah, wow. How could this go wrong?
Yes. There is no way it could go wrong. This is going to be flawless. We have well thought this through in the last 45 seconds that I came up with this idea. So, but no, I am serious. Let's get some stuff going on that Ramazon report. I want to be surprised with some oddities. Go on there, find something fun for, buy somebody a gift.
Yeah.
People love gifts. People love getting something, buy something odd. You can even buy me something odd off there and send it to me, and then I'll give you more of a prize. So, there's so many levels here. I do take bribes.
Turtles all the way down here.
Yes. Much like Todd, who has bought several of our greatest. He is
the greatest hits.
Entries in our top 10 oddest Ramazon picks. So the challenge is out to all of you, dear listeners. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening, sharing it with a friend, asking questions. We love it, and we hope that you can now get out there and tech better. Okay, OBS is recording, Zoom is recording. Feel half a sneeze coming on. No? Yes? No?